Welcome to This Old Pew. My name is Dave Sundberg, and I'll be your host today for what is the 22nd episode of this devotional series. Can you believe that? And today I want to share with you a little writing from a contemporary American Christian writer, Brennan Manning. A segment entitled The Signature of Jesus, as published in the Bread and Wine anthology from Plow Publishing. And he tells a couple of stories in his effort to help his listeners understand what is meant by God's love. He tells a couple of interesting stories that I wanted to share with you today. So let's go ahead and get started. And the first, there is a story of an old man who used to meditate early every morning under a big tree on the bank of the Ganges River. One morning, after he had finished his meditation, the old man opened his eyes and saw a scorpion floating helplessly in the water. As the scorpion was washed closer to the tree, the old man quickly stretched himself out on one of the long roots that branched out into the river and reached out to rescue the drowning creature. As soon as he touched it, the scorpion stung him. Instinctively, the man withdrew his hand. A minute later, after he had regained his balance, he stretched himself out again on the roots to save the scorpion. This time, the scorpion stung him so badly with its poisonous tail that his hand became swollen and bloody and his face contorted with pain. At that moment, a passerby saw the old man stretched out on the roots, struggling with the scorpion, and shouted, "Hey, stupid old man! What's wrong with you? Only a fool would risk his life for the sake of an ugly, evil creature. Don't you know you could kill yourself trying to save that ungrateful scorpion?" The old man turned his head. Looking into the stranger's eyes, he said calmly, "My friend, just because it is the scorpion's nature to sting, that does not change my nature to save." Sitting here at the typewriter in my study, I turn to the symbol of the crucified Christ on the wall to my left, and I hear Jesus praying for his murderers. "Father, forgive them. They do not know what they are doing." The scorpion he had tried to save finally killed him. To the passerby who sees him stretched out on the tree roots and who shouts, "Only a madman would risk his life for the sake of an ugly, ungrateful creature," I hear Jesus answer, "My friend, just because it is fallen mankind's nature to wound, that does not change my nature to save." Good stuff. And he ends with the story. This is interesting. In 1960, a pastor in East Germany wrote a play called The Sign of Jonah. The last scene dealt with the final judgment. All the peoples of the earth are assembled on the plain of Jehoshaphat, awaiting God's verdict. They are not, however, waiting submissively. On the contrary, they are gathered in small groups, talking indignantly. One group is a band of Jews, a sect that has known little but religious, social, and political persecution throughout their history. Included in their number are victims of Nazi extermination camps. Huddled together, the group demands to know what right God has to pass judgment on them, especially a God who dwells eternally in the security of heaven. Another group consists of American blacks. They too question the authority of God, who has never experienced the misfortunes of men, never known the squalor and depths of human degradation to which they were subjected in the suffocating holds of slave ships. A third group is composed of persons born illegitimately, the butt all their lives of jokes and sneers. Hundreds of such groups are scattered across the plain, the poor, the afflicted, the maltreated. Each group appoints a representative to stand before the throne of God and challenge his divine right to pass sentence on their immortal destinies. Representatives include a horrible, twisted arthritic, a victim of Hiroshima, a blind mute. They meet in council and decide that this remote and distant God, who has never experienced human agony, is unqualified to sit in judgment unless he is willing to enter into the suffering, humiliated state of man and endure what they have undergone. Their conclusion reads, "You must be born a Jew. The circumstances of your birth must be questioned. You must be misunderstood by everyone, insulted and mocked by your enemies, betrayed by your friends. You must be persecuted, beaten, and finally murdered in a most public and humiliating fashion." Such is the judgment passed on God by the assembly. The clamor rises to fever pitch as they await his response. Then a brilliant, dazzling light illuminates the entire plain. One by one, those who have passed judgment on God fall silent. For emblazoned high in the heavens for the whole world to see is the signature of Jesus Christ, with this inscription above it: "I have served my sentence." Good stuff. I think that can help us understand a little better God's love. And may you go forward in life, and may peace be with you. Amen.